Happy Friday and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young and as always, we have a lot to cover, so I'll jump right in. On top of the playoffs, a ton is happening in the NBA. Earlier this week, following Milwaukee Bucks' third consecutive postseason exit in the first round, two-time NBA MVP and NBA champion, Giannis Antetokounmpo has not made any firm decisions regarding his future with the Bucks. On top of that, for the first time in his career, he's rumored to be exploring best fits outside of Milwaukee. Antetokounmpo is coming off of one of his best seasons of his career, averaging 30.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists, and finishing in the top 3 of MVP voting. It's his second consecutive season averaging 30, 10, and 5 on 60% shooting or more. No other player in NBA history has done it even once. Somehow, he was even better this postseason, raising his game to average 33 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists in the series against the Indiana Pacers, yet Milwaukee still lost in 5 games to Indiana. Since 2018-2019, Milwaukee has a .663 win percentage, the best in the NBA during that span. Still, the Bucks have won just one playoff series since the franchise's NBA championship in 2021. It's not certain that the superstar will leave the Bucks, but if he does, look for him to explore teams that have the ability to win a title ASAP. Another one of the biggest names in basketball made a major announcement last week. It was announced that legendary head coach Greg Popovich will no longer be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, but will transition to the president of basketball operations. Due to health concerns, Popovich has not coached since October of last year. He's been the head coach of the Spurs since 1996. Popovich has 1,422 regular season wins, the most in league history, and 5 NBA championships. That mark is tied for third all-time behind Phil Jackson with 11 and Red Auerbach with 9. He was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2023. It's hard to imagine the NBA without Popovich coaching on the floor, but it's good to know he'll still be heavily involved in the game. Earlier this week, we also had the NBA draft. The Dallas Mavericks earned the #1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft lottery on Monday night in Chicago. As a surprise to absolutely no one, the Mavericks selected Cooper Flagg out of Duke first overall. Flagg is the consensus #1 overall prospect in this year's draft class. The 18-year-old led Duke to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament earlier this year, though they were knocked out by Houston. Flagg averaged 19.2 points and 7.5 rebounds per game with the Blue Devils while earning Player of the Year honors. After a tough year for the Mavericks due to the earth-shattering Luka Doncic trade, this is a step in the right direction for their organization. Okay, now on to the playoffs. Starting in the West, it's been a back-and-forth battle between the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder and the #4 seed Denver Nuggets. After getting beat by 43 points in Game 2, Denver bounced back with a win at home in Game 3. The Thunder then got a win in Game 4, and even the series at 2 games to 2 heading into Game 5 earlier this week. Then, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 31 points, and the Thunder beat the Nuggets 112-105 on Tuesday night to go up 3-2 in their Western Conference semifinal series. Oklahoma City overcame a 44-point, 15-rebound night from Denver's Nikola Jokic. The Nuggets picked up a win at home last night, evening the series at 3 games to 3 and forcing a Game 7. That series-deciding game will be back in Oklahoma City on Sunday, so don't miss out on that crucial game. Sticking in the West, things looked pretty bleak for the Golden State Warriors. I mentioned it last week, but Steph Curry went out early in Game 1 in the series versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, but the Warriors managed to hold on for a Game 1 win. Curry didn't return for Games 2, 3, 4, or 5, and Minnesota was able to capitalize in his absence, winning all of those games. Through the series, the dominant Anthony Edwards has led the way for the T-Wolves, averaging 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. In Game 5, Edwards dropped 22 points and 12 assists to send the Timberwolves to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year with a 121-110 victory over the Warriors on Wednesday. The Warriors, again without Steph Curry, have officially been eliminated from the playoffs. Over in the East, one word can sum up both series: shocking. The reigning champion Boston Celtics quickly fell to 2 games to 0 to the New York Knicks. Boston righted the ship in Game 3, pulling out a 22-point victory behind Jason Tatum's 22-point game, cutting the series to 2 games to 1. It seemed like the Celtics might have regained their stride and could go on a long winning streak to close out the series. That was not the case. The Knicks stole another win in Game 4, taking a daunting 3-1 series lead after Jalen Brunson's impressive 39-point and 12-assist performance. Unfortunately for Boston, superstar forward Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon after suffering the injury late in the fourth quarter of Monday's Game 4 loss. So, if Boston wants to pull off the series comeback, they'll have to do it without their leading scorer. Stepping up in the absence of Tatum, Derek White had 34 points, including 7 three-pointers, to lead the Celtics to a 127-102 Game 5 win over the Knicks on Wednesday night that kept them alive in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Since the Celtics narrowly avoided elimination, Game 6 will be tonight at 5 p.m., and if they manage to win a second straight tonight, Game 7 will be on Monday, also at 5 p.m. Much of the same that was said about the Celtics can be said for the Cleveland Cavaliers. After 2 early heartbreaking losses, the Cavs quickly fell to 2-0 to the Indiana Pacers. They managed to pick up a win on the road in Game 3, but fell short in Game 4, and heading into Tuesday night, the Pacers were sitting with a 3-1 series lead over the top-ranked Cavs. Donovan Mitchell had been averaging a whopping 34 points per game in this series for Cleveland, but injuries to other starters have hindered their success. In Tuesday night's Game 5, Tyrese Haliburton scored 31 points and Pascal Siakam added 21 as the Pacers reached the conference finals in consecutive years for the first time since 2013 after defeating the Cavaliers 114-105. The Pacers now move on to play the winner of the Knicks and Celtics series in the Eastern Conference Finals. The NBA playoffs are quickly coming to a close. Before we know it, the NBA Finals will be here, so don't miss out on any of the playoff action this weekend and next week. That same sentiment goes for the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. In the Western Conference, Mikko Rantanen was added again for the Dallas Stars, scoring a goal and 2 assists, helping the Stars defeat the Winnipeg Jets 5-2 in Game 3 and take a 2-1 series lead. In Game 4, someone on the Stars scored another hat trick, but this time it wasn't Rantanen. This time, Michael Granlund scored a hat trick for the Stars, who pushed the Jets to the brink with a 3-1 win to bring the series to 3-1. Game 5 was last night, and the Jets were able to secure a win at home and bring the series to 3-2. Game 6 of this series will be tomorrow, and, if needed, Game 7 will be on Monday. Sticking in the West, obviously, the Edmonton Oilers have been on fire. In Game 4 of their series with the Vegas Golden Knights, Adam Henrique scored twice in the first period, and Stuart Skinner made 23 saves for the Oilers in a 3-0 win, taking a 3-1 series lead. In the series closeout Game 5 on Wednesday night, Kasperi Kapanen scored at 7:19 of overtime to break the long-standing 0-0 tie, and the Edmonton Oilers eliminated the Vegas Golden Knights with a 1-0 win. Edmonton now advances to the conference final for a second straight season, the first time in 33 years they've reached consecutive conference finals. On top of that, this is the 12th time in franchise history the Oilers have made it to the conference finals, tying the Chicago Blackhawks for the most since 1979. In the East, the matchup of the reigning champion Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs has been closely contested so far. Games 1 through 3 were decided by just 1 goal, and Game 4, the final score was just 2-0. Entering into Game 5 on Wednesday, this series was all tied up 2-2. The Panthers now hold on to a 3-2 series lead after a dominant 6-1 win in Game 5. Toronto goaltender Joseph Woll allowed 5 goals on just 25 shots before being pulled for the Maple Leafs. Kind of a fun fact, all 6 goals were scored by different people on the Panthers. Game 6 of this series will be today, with Game 7 on Sunday if needed. Lastly, despite Alexander Ovechkin's record-breaking season, the Washington Capitals entered last night down 3-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes were able to close out the series and eliminate the Capitals, winning the series 4-1 and advancing to the conference finals. They will face the winner of the Maple Leafs-Panthers series. Later next week, the conference finals will begin, so don't miss out on any of the action for the remainder of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This weekend is the second major of the PGA season, the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. This is one of the longest courses on the PGA Tour, and this event is hosting the strongest field of players. The top 3 contenders this weekend are Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, and Xander Schauffele. McIlroy finally achieved golfing immortality at the Masters last month by becoming the 6th golfer to complete the career Grand Slam. He might be the one to beat at Quail Hollow, where he has won 4 times in the past. He will try to become the first player to win the Masters and PGA Championship in the same year since Jack Nicklaus in 1975. World #1 golfer Scottie Scheffler is coming off of his first victory of the season and is looking to continue his winning streak. And lastly, Xander Schauffele is the reigning champion at Quail Hollow, but he's slowly coming off of a rib injury. The tournament teed off yesterday and will continue through Sunday, so tune in to watch your favorite golfers in action. I haven't mentioned the MLB in a while, but things are going pretty great for 2 of the 3 Southern California teams. The Dodgers are currently the best team in the league, while the Padres aren't too far behind and are hanging on in the top 5. The Angels, well, are the Angels and hanging around the bottom 10 teams in the league as per usual. However, it could be a lot worse. The Colorado Rockies are having a historic, potentially record-breaking bad season. The Rockies fired longtime manager Bud Black this weekend. Black had managed the Rockies since the start of the 2017 season. The move comes after a disastrous 6-33 start to the season for the Rockies, which was tied for the worst 39-game start in MLB history. This week's 3 straight losses to the Texas Rangers put the Rockies at just 7-36 for the year and on pace for a record 134 losses for the season. Over the first 43 games of the season, the Rockies have been outscored by 137 runs. Currently, they're on pace for a run differential of 557. For reference, the current record for worst differential is 349. Last Saturday, the Rockies suffered a franchise-worst 21-0 loss to the Padres. It's going to be interesting to see what changes the Rockies make moving forward, if possible, and how they can at least salvage some of the season, because right now, they're at an all-time low. They will play the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight at 6:40 p.m. To close the show, much like last week, a major NFL news story dominated headlines this week. New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr has officially announced his retirement. This move comes a few weeks after the Saints announced Carr could potentially miss the 2025 season with a shoulder injury. Carr spent the first 9 years of his career with the Raiders before signing a 4-year deal with the Saints before the 2023 season. The 34-year-old QB started 169 games for the two teams over his career and finished with a 77-92 record, throwing for over 41,000 yards and 257 touchdowns, including his best season in 2016, which he led the Raiders to the playoffs. NFL fans, players, and sports fans around the country wish Carr all the best in his retirement. With all of that said, thank you for joining me on another Friday episode of Sports Corner. Enjoy all the golf, basketball, hockey, baseball, and more this weekend, and come right back next week for more news, updates, and highlights. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.